Everybody, we're starting in child's pose this morning. We're just going to fold ourselves up here on our mats for a few breaths. Knees wide, big toes close together, arms outstretched. And while you're here, just rock your hips from side to side. We're going to give ourselves just a little bit of loosening before we try and sit. And shifting the body forward and back a few times, just loosening up joints that might be stiff from overnight. And then let's take a few breaths in downward facing dog, tucking the toes and pedaling the heels, just loosening up here, back of the body. And then for some heat, I'd like you to just come into plank pose. So we're going to spread our fingers wide, pull the belly in and up, lengthen through the crown, come way up onto the tippy toes, and hold. I realize this is kind of a tricky way to start gentle yoga for all levels. Please feel free to drop your knees if you need to. Just notice your breath. And then let's drop our knees and we'll find our way around to a seated position. Any seat that you like, cross-legged, legs extended, hips up on some kind of a cushion. Let's roll the shoulders. And then just pause for a moment to notice your breath. So close your eyes. Feel the parts of your body that just started speaking to you when we did those first few moves. Draw breath in a little more deeply. And let's start to make some whisper sound with our breath. So on the exhale, the breath sounds like H. And on the inhale, breath sounds like H. See if you can find that Ujjayi breath. I'd like to invite you this morning to view your body as a very dear friend. And as we move through this practice, I invite you to treat your body the way you would treat a dear friend. So if you had someone right next to you practicing with you and they told you that their body was hurting, you would encourage them to move softly and take care, right? So let's do that this morning. Let's practice care as if we were just doing this practice for the body of a very dear friend. And so with that, let's create a little mantra. Let's bring our hands together in front of our hearts. This is a gesture of gratitude. On the inhale, just thinking the words, thank you. And on the exhale, the word friend. Thank you, friend. So just gratitude to yourself for making time and for treating this practice with gentleness and kindness to this body. All right, so we're just going to take our right leg out to the side, keeping our left knee bent. It's this kind of a half fold. Left hand on the floor, right arm straight up overhead. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, start to lean over toward the left side. You can stay on your hand. If your body's warm enough and comfy, you can drop to an elbow, but just take a nice little side body stretch here. Releasing the hand to that bent knee, let's sweep the left arm back even further. Look over your shoulder. Take some deeper breaths. Bringing our way back around to center, both arms toward the right leg that's extended. Kind of adjust your sitting bones. Inhale to lengthen through the spine and exhale, fold toward the leg. Let's bring the arms up on an inhale, and we're just going to create a fun little flow with those movements. So exhale, left hand to the floor, right arm reaches over. Inhale tall and exhale into your twist. Inhale, sweep both arms up. Exhale over that right leg. Let's do that again. All three moves. Inhale tall. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, both arms up and find your twist. Ring out a big breath. Gorgeous. Coming back to center. Inhale and then lower over that leg. Walking yourself upright. Let's switch legs. Bend the right, extend the left. And we're just going to do that same thing. So starting with right hand on the ground, left arm up overhead. Pause here for a few breaths. Thank you, friend. Sitting tall, find a twist. Looking over the right shoulder. Let your belly move with your breath. And turning to center, arms reach, tall spine, exhale over. And now moving with our breath, arms reach. First to a side bend, big exhale. Inhale, arms reach. Good, exhale, twist. Inhale, center, exhale over that left leg. Let's go again, reach, side bend. Reach and twist. And reach. Coming over that leg. Let's flow one more time, lifting to a side bend. Lifting to a twist. And coming over that left leg, pausing here, 3 slow breaths. Walking ourselves to an upright spine. Let's bring the knees together. Come around into a tabletop position. And then lifting into downward facing dog. This is the second time we've been here, so just noticing how this feels as you pedal your heels, shift your weight. Let's slowly walk to the top of our mat. And pressing hands to shins, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms high, extended mountain. Bring your hands to your heart. Let's flow with breath as we open. Take a deep breath in, and then we'll sink into chair as we exhale. Give yourself space to move. Start to build some heat. Today we're going to unpack one of my favorite poses, and it's pretty simple. It's triangle pose, Trikonasana. but it's often overlooked. We usually throw that in at the end of a warrior series and we don't look too much at the intricacies. And that's what we're going to do today. So the next time your arms are open, I invite you to bring your arms straight out to the side. So this is some triangle arms, and you're just going to turn your head to look over one hand and another. So we're going to start with that. The very first piece of triangle pose that we're going to look at is just this ease of movement in the neck with arms extended. And go ahead and release your arms. So we'll be spending a lot of time standing with wide feet at the long edge of the mat. So if that means you'd like to turn your mat so that you can see better in this position, go ahead and do that now. We're not going to do a lot of vinyasa. We'll be going from side to side from this position. So if that helps you at all. All right. So let's start by taking our right foot, and we're going to turn that right foot out toward the edge of the mat. The left foot is going to heel toe back, and we're just going to find that position of the foot that feels really stable. Hands come to the hips. Let's bend and straighten our front knee. So as if we were moving into a warrior two. This will give you an idea of how wide apart you want your feet. Warming up through those legs, and then we'll come down into warrior. Let's bring the arms up again, turning to look forward and turning to look backward. Forward and back. And as we look forward again, let's turn the palm, reverse the warrior. And we'll move in this flow now here, side bend to reverse warrior. Starting to feel the muscles in the core come online. And the sensation of moving up over the ear to warm up the shoulder. Good, you guys, you look really beautiful. Move with your breath. One more side angle, reach all the way over. Let your hips drop just a little bit. And then as we reverse, let's straighten that front leg, come into a reach toward the ceiling. Lift, lift, and lengthen. And release that hand. Heel toe your feet to the side of the mat. So all 10 toes sideways. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale, hands to the hips, hinge forward, come into a soft kneed forward fold. Just let your head dangle here, let your back be soft. Maybe put a bend in the knees and straighten, starting to get back behind the knees into the hammies. And then lifting to a flat back. Really engage through the core. Let your hands come to your hip crease. Lift with the strength of your torso, your back. Good, and then we'll turn our left toes straight to the side of the mat. Angle your back foot until you really feel like you're strong, especially in the outer edge of that foot. So mine's not quite parallel to the back of the mat. I like my toes in a little bit. Every body is different. Get a feel for that, okay? And then we'll lift our arms. Let's bend and straighten our front knee. You're just moving with your breath, giving your arms a chance to get used to this strength of holding. Good, warming up through the knee. And then let's come down and hold our warrior pose. Maybe widen it so you feel really stretched and strong. Look over the front hand. Look over the back hand. Just let your head pivot with ease at the top of your neck. And the next time the head looks forward, let's turn the palm, reverse the warrior, and we'll begin our side body flow. So moving into the obliques. Using that Ujjayi breath that we began with, that whisper sound. Moving as if you were giving a gift to a dear friend. Reach over your head, pause here to find the length and the reach. Maybe that top shoulder comes back just a little bit. Reach even farther as the hips drop. Good, everyone. Inhale, reverse warrior, straighten the front legs, fingers lift to the ceiling. Really big, spacious breath here in the rib cage, the waist, the hip. And return to center. All 10 toes to the side of the mat. Let's bring the arms up overhead. This time, arms behind. Reach towards your hands or interlace. Pull through the chest, and then let's hinge from the hips. Option to bend or straighten the knees to your liking. Thank you, friend. Rock your weight a few inches to the left, a few inches to the right. Start to find the top of the inner thighs, that kind of groin stretch sensation. And then let's return fingertips to the floor, lengthen to a flat back. Turn all 10 toes to the corners, so corners of the mat, and we'll start to lunge from side to side. So you can tell we're paying a lot of attention to inner thighs today. Go ahead and lift the toes if you like as you lunge. And we'll bend our right knee. Let's turn those toes again and press ourselves up into our warrior two. Let's find our warrior two. Arms open. Turn to look over your your right fingers. Palm turns, reverse your warrior. And then exhale, side angle. We're going to stop right here on the thigh. We'll leave this arm down for the moment. So see if you can find a way to just kind of make your body a straight line from the crown of your head down through that outer ankle. Okay. And then add the length of the arm, either straight up or continuing that same line through the fingers. Beautiful. Let's take that arm behind the back, a little half bind, and then turn your palm down and straighten your front leg so that the hand comes to the inside of your calf. And then bend again. So the palm stays down, and we're just going to straighten, touching that inner calf, and bend. You can tell what we're trying to create here with our legs, that perfect triangle with two legs in the floor. So one more time, just touching that inner thigh, roll your shoulders open. Bend the knee again, press to the thigh, come back to center. Toes to the side, take a deep breath in. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Head low, hips high. Fill up and empty out with your Ujjayi breath. Let's come up halfway. We'll turn our left toes toward the edge of the mat, pressing ourselves up into warrior two. Let's take time to be really precise in your footprints. Looking over the left fingers, turn the palm and reverse the warrior. Nice. Let's come into side angle. So really light on the thigh. Let the hips drop, find your, I'm sorry, we started here on the other side. So find the line, head to ankle first. Then you could consider adding arm to the ceiling or continuing your line. Shoulder pulls back. So triangle pose is a precise pose of alignment of angles. 3 means 3, anga, angle, kona, angle, Trikonasana. Let's wrap the arm behind the back and we'll start to straighten. The hand goes to the inner calf and back to palm down. Just introducing this common pose that I feel like we take for granted sometimes. I love to unpack. And then we'll just hold here for a breath. Put that bend back in the knee. Bring yourself to center, toes to the edge of the mat. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Lifting to a flat back for a twist. So left hand underneath the chest or face, right arm opens up. Feeling something happening in the inner thigh. Nice little squeeze for the spine, the internal organs. And switch. Thank you, friend. Showing up, taking great care. And release. Turn the toes to the corners of the mat, a little bit more narrow stance, put a bigger bend in the knees. So let's lift and lower in this almost prayer squat. Not quite, we're not gonna hold, we're just gonna squat and lift. Actually, maybe we will hold. That sounds kind of nice, doesn't it? So come in a little more narrow, bend to either rest here on the thighs or elbows inside the knees and come down into prayer squat. Let's take 3 deep breaths here, feeling space in the low back, length through the crown of the head. How are you, dear friend? How do these movements make your body feel? Like a love note, like a hug or a handshake? Let's release to straighten the legs and we'll heel toe the feet out wide once again. Soft knees, hands at the hip crease, rise up. Okay, let's turn the right toes. Let's find our warrior stance. And we're gonna build Trikonasana now from the ground up. We've taken plenty of time to warm up for it. So I want you to start with this back heel, your left heel, and I want you to roll to the inside of the foot. You'll see how that makes me cave in through the knee, and now roll to the outside of the foot. So sometimes we do things wrong in order to feel like what happens when we do them right. So easy on your knee, but notice that feeling, and now stay in the outside edge of your foot. That should really feel like strength here, here, and here. All right, so stay really strong in that outside edge. Okay, second movement, the front leg is straight, hands at the hip crease. I want you to practice this. So we're neutral, and then we're hinging sideways at the hip. So my left hip is going sideways, my right hip crease is folding. I can even put my hand in there and pinch my hand in that crease. Okay. So if you tend to hyperextend, you want to keep a very micro bend in this knee. Try not to lock it way out. If you don't have that problem, your leg is going to be pretty straight. All right, let's come over. And now we need the core to hold us here. So we're going to press into the mound of the big toe, and we're pulling all of the energy up to the hip. And then from that heel, all of the energy up through the crown. Roll the shoulders open a bit. Awesome, everybody. Arms open now to parallel to the floor. So if that feels weird, start up here, hinge at the hips, and go again. So see how my arms haven't changed. I'm gonna keep reaching and reaching and reaching through the spine until I can't go any further, and then this hand just rests. There it is again on that inner calf. Top arm lifts overhead. So we took the long way into Trikonasana. How do you feel? It's a strong pose, it's a challenging pose. So press again into the outer ankle, the big toe mound, lengthen the spine. And as a final suggestion, let's go Utthita, extended Trikonasana. Maybe that hand slides down a bit farther, chest rolls open. Everybody breathe. Nicely done. The arm comes to the hip. The knee bends. You can use your hand here to press back up. Turn to center and say, woo. And let's circle out the hips a little bit. Hopefully you could tell that's a lot of hip. That's a lot of inner thigh. It's a lot of core. Let's turn our toes out and we'll just lunge it out, kind of softening through the knees. Let's take some sunflowers, bend down and lift up. One more time, nice big reach. Reach for the ceiling, turn your left toes, plant your right foot. Let's come into our warrior stance, second side. Okay, we're gonna do the exact same thing because the two sides are different, right? Siblings, but not twins. So bend to the inner arch of your back foot. Notice how that makes you cave in through the knee. Now press out, stable knee. Do that a few times. Bad, good. Don't do this, always do this. All right, so we're pressing into that outer ankle. The arch is slightly lifted. You're strong here through the outer leg all the way up to the hip. All right, as we straighten the front knee, let's find our hip creases and we'll start to play with that little tilt. Come to neutral. Pinch your fingers in that left hip crease. Kind of fascinating, right? To look around the body in these poses and figure out what's happening in the little places, right? Okay, so we've got that action down, arms parallel to the floor, hip crease. Try not to hyperextend, maybe a micro bend if you need that, and then reach. Arms stay parallel to the floor. Go as far as you can, farther, farther, farther. Then calf to hand to the calf, arm up. And there we are. So you should be able to kind of see, if you're looking at my image in the screen, a triangle of the two legs in the floor, a triangle here, arm, torso, and leg. And then you have to draw kind of an imaginary triangle here, spine and arm. If you like Utthita or extended triangle, there you go. A lot of work happening here. Press into the big toe mound, the outer ankle, core strong, breathe. Ooh, lose the hand, bend the knee, come back up. Lunge side to side. Did we survive Trikonasana and Utthita Trikonasana? Let's take sunflowers. Good, thank you, friend. One more nice big reach, arm overhead. Turn your toes. Take the left arm down to the side, right arm to the ceiling. Just take a really juicy side bend here. And back up to switch. And come back to center. Heel toe your feet wide. This will be our last wide straddle, forward fold. So hinging from the hips, hands to the floor or blocks, head down. If you feel a big sigh emerging after holding a couple of challenging postures, let's walk our hands toward our right ankle and gently pull the torso toward the right. Coming back to center, left side, gently pulling down. And returning hands to our mat. Heel toe your feet closer together, and then let's drop one knee and then the other. And we're going to come up to stand on our shins. So feel free to grab a blanket or a pillow or a folded mat underneath your knees if that feels good. We'll come into gentle camel. So hands on the glutes, gently pressing the glutes down, elbows back. This is a great place to stay, just opening through the front. You are welcome to reach both hands at the same time back towards your heels. Toes tucked or feet flat. Give yourself some gratitude, some kindness, ease here, opening. And with hands to hips, slowly return to center. And we'll return our hands to the floor. Let's lower down onto our front side, belly. Arms at our sides for locust, Shalabhasana. So we'll start with our feet close together, arms lifting. And then you can keep your feet on the floor or lift them. Maybe interlace. Just a nice strength posture. As we release, let's bring our hands to our shoulders, come up and back into child's pose. Taking care of the knees. And let's take some deep breaths now into the back of our rib cage, our kidneys, our hips, our low back. Shifting to where our hips are up over our knees, walk the hands forward for puppy pose. So this gives you a deeper stretch through your chest. Keeping your hips elevated, maybe the head touches the floor. If you're more open through the shoulders, maybe your nose or chin even touches the floor. Fill up with breath and empty out. And returning into a tabletop. Oh my goodness. Let's swing our legs around. We're going to find a seat. So legs are going to come out into a straddle. And I'm going to sit on a little bit of an angle to show you. I'd like you to bring your fingertips behind. So before we fold forward, let's find a back bend. So either palms down or fingertips, and just press through chest, belly. Open up through the neck space a bit and feel this length. Kind of like camel with a little bit more support. And then returning to neutral, keeping our hands behind us, start to press forward with the chest. And if you have a tendency to kind of tuck your tailbone under, you have a posterior tilt of the pelvis. If that happens to you, I'd like to see you stay here and work the fold this way. But if you release your hands and you still feel like you're on the front of your pelvis, then go ahead and start walking your hands forward. So either way, here or hands forward, you're going to start to feel again stretch through the inner thighs and some hammy. Finding a soft ujjayi breath that keeps us internally focused. And treating this pose like a gift to a dear friend. Slowly returning to upright. Let's bring our legs out in front of us together. Kind of just bounce them on the floor a bit. We'll take a twist to the right. So let's cross our right leg up and over. Bring your torso as straight as you can while you hold on to that what is this? It's a shin. Right arm lifts tall. Spin your rib cage to the right and let your hand settle behind you. Keep your hand or elbow on that knee, whatever feels best to you. But as you look over your shoulder, tiptoe your fingers farther. The shoulder blade move on to the back a little bit more as the head turns. Relaxing face and jaw. Wringing out. And let's unwind back to center. Let this knee bend open to the side. So you're in a Janu Shirshasana, one knee bent, clear the flesh. We'll reach tall and we'll go over our left leg. Again, breathing into the back of the ribs, the kidneys, the waistband. Breathing out with an H sound. Coming back to switch legs, both legs straight. Let's cross the left over the right. Hold on so that you can really drive the spine up tall. And then move from the rib cage. Let your ribs twist toward the left side. Left arm up and plant. And then once you feel that hand on the floor, walk it a little further. Fold the left shoulder onto the back, turn your head and breathe. Let's return to center. Let the left knee open. Right leg is straight. Reach tall and fold. Let this be a little surrender here. This posture, a gift to a friend. How would you treat a friend? Would you force and push and judge? Or would you offer, invite? And bringing ourselves back to an upright position, both legs extended out in front of us, fingertips forward. We're going to tuck the tailbone and roll down really slow. So go super slow motion, a little bit of ab work here. Our abs are like the brakes, decelerating the action. Just really slow. Let your abdominals hold, hold, hold. Keep going nice and slow. And once you feel your shoulder blades on the floor, lower your head and draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little movement from side to side. And then taking the knees out to the shoulders, let's find happy baby. Fingertips just touching the outer edges, maybe the ankles, whatever you can get a hold of. Press your tailbone, your sits bone, your sacrum down to the floor. You could move around, or you could just be still. You did a lot of standing work through the hips, so this pose might be just a little bit easier for you today. And then releasing the feet to the floor. Pause for just a moment with your heels coming in a little close to your hips. Notice how your back feels. Can you slide your hand under your low back? Let's do a little assessment before we move into bridge. And then spreading your toes wide, find that big toe mound once again, and we'll rise up into bridge. If you want a more gentle experience, you can put a pillow or a block under your hips. Want a little more active bridge, lift with your own strength and walk your shoulders underneath you. Maybe interlace. Let the chin come up away from the chest just a bit. And now find that Ujjayi breath again, that H whisper sound. One more big full breath in and out. And release your hips to the ground. Let's find figure four. So the right ankle crosses over left knee, reach down and pull in. So you're pulling in on your left hamstring. Bring your hand to your right knee and push it away. So left knee towards you, right knee gently presses away. Flex your feet, that will help you protect your knee. And just gently rock in and out. So pull the legs closer, let them come away. This is a stretch for your deep hip rotators. They call them the deep six. The piriformis is the largest of those six, and that's what you're feeling deep inside your right hip. One more time, really squeeze in and press away. Let the left foot come to the floor. Open the arms for a twist, and you can stay just like this in your figure four, or you can cross the leg a little farther over. Let the knees drop to the left. Let your head turn to the right. We're going to close our eyes here and take several slow, deep breaths. You can start to let go of that H sound and just let your breath be more soft and natural. You can close your eyes, soften your face. And just drop into this experience. You're going to slowly come back to center, uncross, finding figure 4 on the second side. So left ankle to right knee. And as we pull the right knee in, we'll press the left leg away. Start that gentle stretch in and press away. Just notice what sensations show up here. Does this feel like a gift? As we press away, we'll drop the foot, moving into twist either with a figure 4 or crossed legs. Knees drop to the right, head turns left. Again, close your eyes. Breathe through your nose. Your shoulder blades rest on the ground. And slowly ease your way back to center. Let's take our toes to the wide edges of our mat and let's windshield wiper the legs. Just noticing all of the muscles that we worked and stretched in this one action. Taking full, soft breaths. Thank you, friend. One more time, knees into chest, squeeze tightly, draw your chin to your chest, pull yourself in, and just really think of wringing everything out. And very slowly, like slow motion, come into Shavasana, the most important of all of our poses. I'm just going to rest here for 3 minutes. Feet flop open, arms at the sides, shoulder blades on the ground. Even, equal, steady breath. My friends, as you continue to rest, if you'd like, bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly, aware of your own gentle touch and your breath. And I'd like to share with you a prayer for a friend by John O'Donohue. On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the gray window and the ghost of loss gets into you, may a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, and azure blue, come to awaken in you a meadow of delight. When the canvas frays in the crook of thought and a stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. May the protection of the ancestors be yours. And so may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life. Take slow, deep, careful breaths, full of care, as you stretch and wiggle and move your way back to a seat. When you do find this seat, let's return to this gesture of gratitude for a dear friend, you, yourself. Thank you, friend. Bowing to this best friend that dwells within, the one who wants only the best for us. Thank you for tapping into that best friend today. Thank you for showing up here in community and for yourself. Namaste. Hi, my friend. Thanks for taking time for yourself today. If you ever want to practice with me live over Zoom, jump over to my website, denisestruce.as.me, grab a class. They're all free or by donation, or just continue enjoying these videos here.